Welcome to the Overture Pamphlet. My name is Rob and I'm the host of this one-man show. And, well, I know, where the hell have I been? It's been ages since an episode, but May has been probably the most, complicated month in terms of me recording, because I've been away or busy almost every weekend, and I did not have time to record pretty much anything between my birthday, 2 trips, and all that stuff. It's just been very, very difficult for me. So, yeah, but I did not forget about the podcast at all. I've been thinking about it constantly, and I'm here. I'm finally here, and I'm here to talk to y'all again. And today, I will be talking about, of course, the feud, the tea, everything in between. Well, that involves mostly 2 girls, 2 messy girls named Donald Trump, and Elon Musk. So, yeah, if you guys are wondering what's going on, I'm basically referring to the recent meltdown on X by Elon Musk, turning his back to Trump and basically attacking him and asking people to vote for the opposition now, because the whole disagreement is over a specific bill, but I will get into it as soon as I can. But first, songs of the week. Yes, I did not forget about that. So there's a lot of music that has come out in the past month, so I will unfortunately not be able to talk too much about any of the previous songs that have been released. But I have some favorites. I've been away for more than 9 days. I had a huge holiday, which is very nice, and I enjoyed a lot of songs. And I have new memes attached to some songs, and it's all very, very, very bittersweet for me. But I do have some songs that I want to talk about. First off, Just Keep Watching by Tay McRae. F1 soundtrack, I guess, Formula 1 soundtrack for the movie. This is just incredible. Tay McRae is just surprising me every second. Ever since I saw her live on the 21st, I think, or the 20th of May or something like that, I've become increasingly obsessed with her. I mean, I was already very much obsessed with her, but I think seeing her live, I was like, she is probably right now one of the only girls in the scene who is performing like the rent is due, and properly performing, knowing how to perform. So, and well, that's besides the point. This song is incredible. It has a bit of reggaeton elements to it, not too much, but to me it is quite interesting, and I love this song. The production, I guess, the instrumental post-chorus, also very much fun. The visuals, so cool. In fact, it's so cleverly referencing all the steps into they go into preparing a car for the race. So cool. But the song itself is just so catchy and so up tempo, very sexy, very repetitive, but also in a good way. Super well produced. Just incredible stuff. I love everything that Tim McRae is doing right now. So yep, that's that. Then I want to talk about the new Addison Rae EP or album, I guess. Very interesting album, I would say. Very cool. I see a lot of Lana Ray influence on this album, especially in the vocal delivery, and production wise, I guess it's a bit of an ode to the early 2000s, but also a lot of Charlie XCX influence I see. And my favorite track was Money's Everything, which is very much a Charlie XCX song, I think, on this. Very cool stuff. She name drops Lana in this, and I think another artist I can't remember at the moment, it's escaping me, but just love the vocal delivery and production of the track itself. Just very interesting. It fits very well with the entire album as well. It's just like this all glamorous like lens for this album, like very cool and grungy type of vibe. And this is just pure Addison Rae. I think this is at the top for me, together with High Fashion. High Fashion is still to me my favorite song by her, and by Pepsi, of course. But yeah, next song, next. I Will Never Let You Down by Rita Ora. Very old song, just very summery to me. Very. I started listening to it like the last few days of my like holiday in Italy, and I was so like such in a good mood. So cool, very cool. Very summery, very fresh, very I will never let you some summer love song and all that stuff. Just old, tiny. I think it was definitely like a song from the 2000s, 2010s or something. Very cool stuff. Um, very cool. Then I'm speeding through these. I do want to include, I guess, Anticipate by Michelle Zafir and Clairo. This song is straight up an outtake, I think, from, well, it sounds like an outtake from Charm, even though it's not. But Charm, the album by Clairo, has the same similar production, very cool, very, jazzy and a bit R&B-ish, and sort of Beatles-esque. Um, just if you love that album, which I did last year so much, you would really enjoy this track. Very, very cool. So, yeah, that's that on the tracks. Now, let's get into the real deal, which is the story of the day. I have so much to talk about this because I don't know. I find it very interesting that all this, most of all, like unraveled online, um, and was sort of like a public meltdown. I'm still trying to like ponder on whether like there are ulterior motives to this, like if it's just not simply about a bill, but if there's been multiple other instances that we haven't known about between the scenes. But in any event, I think it's been only like 129 days since um, Elon Musk has been named as the head of the DOGE, which is like Department of I think Growth in the US, and basically he already has walked out of the government due to like some I guess disagreements between him and Trump specifically. But anyways, this whole shenanigan started because of a tax and spending bill that is currently making its way through the Senate, and I think is fully supported by Trump and its administration. And this tax spending bill is basically a bill that would extend basically tax breaks for several of businesses that have already been allowed this tax break, specifically through the previous Trump administration in 2017. So it's a continuation of that basically, and it's if it passes the Congress, this will become the backbone of Trump's second terms, I guess, politics and line of conduct. Um, Musk believes basically that the bill would create higher deficits for the government and for the U.S. overall, and Trump on the other hand believes that this will create, economic, like it will induce economic growth, and it will support several businesses to produce even more. Um, However, I think I've seen like multiple articles on this, and most people agree on the fact that the bill, if passed, could definitely might as well will definitely basically create even more of this budget deficit. And by budget deficit, I think it specifically means the difference between what the government spends and what the government earns. And if this passes, the deficit would grow, will be higher than, well, I guess it will grow by about $600 billion. Now, why is this very crucial, and why is this like very important, and what are the consequences of this? Basically, if this bill passes, this these major tax breaks will definitely increase the deficit, uh, which would definitely result in more Americans, or like higher number of Americans, having to rely on debts and being indebted for as long as this bill is basically implemented, and is active. Now, because of this agreement, I think it's also important to note why Elon Musk is speaking so much about this. Well, I think one of the main reasons is because like he was tasked to instead slash the public spending, like the government spending, and it seems in the eyes of everyone, basically the Americans and the Republicans, that he has failed to do so. His target went from 2 trillion, I think, to one, and then to half a trillion. Like it's like basically he hasn't been able to achieve his goals and like his basically what he promised to the government. So that's part of why, and he is definitely involved in the situation and about budget deficit and all that stuff. I think another part of this is allegedly that well, this was sort of confirmed by Trump, I guess, or like spread by Trump, but one of the main reasons why he now chose to speak up and has been quite ever since this like was conceptualized was partially because like Trump has rejected, well, did reject basically the EV mandate that was proposed by Elon Musk, basically the electric vehicle mandates that would mandate that everyone uses electric cars, which would of course aid his business and help enrich him overall. But yeah, and I think also there's been a bit of a situation where funds have been cut from his department specifically. So I think there's been a lot of like in behind the scenes drama that we don't necessarily know much about, and I think that definitely contributes to the reason why Elon Musk took to Twitter to just publicly address this and go against Trump and turn his back on him. So yeah. Now, I think personally the funniest part about this whole thing is that um, the administration and Trump have definitely not missed a beat, and they started like immediately replying to him and engaging, but mostly on their respective platforms, like social media platforms. So they've been going like through a back and forth for the past day or so, and it's all like not necessarily directly replying to each other, but because they each use different platforms, I guess, which is very funny. But anyways, I think also what's in the terms used by Elon Musk are sort of like also quite negative of where he's trying to aim. He's using the word, for example, porking, which is actually also a political term for the government supporting government-backed businesses or something. So a lot of like he's alluding to some sort of corruption as well, and going against the citizens and indebting to citizens and all that stuff. So a lot of that. I think he also, I don't know if it's still up or like if he deleted the tweets or something, but he did ask, threaten, I guess, the Republicans, saying that he, in the upcoming like midterm elections, he would be supporting the opposition and trying to stop the bill as much as he can. And that's quite, I mean, it's not really surprising, I guess, because he was putting the money, like Elon Musk is very much self-centered and he just wants to I guess, fund whichever side is going to help him the most. But I think also overall, he might have, when he first sided with Trump, might have been too confident on his ability to actually control Trump. If anything, Trump, it still remains to this day um, very much a wild card and a very unpredictable man whose main strategy is to just create a ruckus and create a reaction from people. That's how he stays relevant and stays, you know, in power, and he grows his influence, I guess. So I was not surprised when, things went so badly, but I would have expected it to just happen sort of behind the closed doors and just have Elon exit quietly. But yeah, no, it's just going down like a on Twitter like a old fashioned celebrity feud, and it definitely has all the connotations of that. And I find it very fitting that the AOC, like Ocasio Cortez, said that the girls are fighting because it is pretty much in the same fashion as just celebrities or girls like on Twitter finding each other. It's very much that energy, and it's also a very clever reply, I guess, because it is also affecting their masculinity and all that stuff. Like, it's just trying to like provoke them in that sense, and it's super interesting to see how other people are also reacting to this. I think other politicians as well. But yeah, I think my biggest doubt is to see how actually will you know Elon Musk face this. I mean, ultimately, it is something that has to be decided by the Senate first, and I think then the Congress. So, I mean, the only way you can like actually affect the outcome is if he actually did, as he promised, like if he did influence the midterm elections and like change the constituency. Uh, but yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. So, um, I still don't know to this day whether like I think the biggest outtake would be that basically money, unfortunately, and corruption specifically, it does influence a lot of the elections and everything else. A big portion of the election is definitely influenced by who buys whose votes and who brings whose money and all that stuff. And so if the midterm elections do get influenced in that way, you would also, I guess, learn by the same hand that it is unfortunately a very corrupt system, and you if you do not have like $1 billion or something, if you're not a billionaire, you cannot have any remote chance of affecting politics, which is so disheartening and so disgusting. But and yet also I feel like overall it shows you that all these people in the government right at the moment in the Republican Party all are there to serve their own purposes and their own agendas, and they do not care. If it wasn't clear enough, I guess. But I mean, maybe some people need to be reminded. But they do not care about you. They do not care you about the citizen, about you the citizen, and you as the voter, I guess. They just care about their own personal businesses and their own gains and everything else. And Elon just definitely confirmed that single-handedly. But yeah, it is something very, very weird. And Trump went back and forth with him and called him a drug addict, and then Elon initially also said that Trump was on the Epstein's list and all that stuff. What's new? I think we all know that, and it's still crazy to me that all this is like unfolding publicly, because you guys are supposed to be politicians leading a country, having a certain decor. Instead, you're like here scrambling, like as if you're on a TV reality, like reality TV show or something, or like on Love Island or whatever. Just get it together and squash this bromance, and just, I don't know, solve it on the bad. I don't fucking know. Just it seems like to me that they're just too big ego man, and they just need to maybe they have some like some bromance that need to be squashed on the bed. Just like go and do whatever. Just don't have a public meltdown like that. Like that's just so bad. It's so honestly embarrassing for both of them. Um, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much what it is. I think this is really interesting overall in terms of how quickly someone can change their opposition, their support for someone else based solely on their own gain. And I guess it's nothing different from that's what you get when you like build your own government off of businessmen and people who have no interest in a public good, and they just look at their own little pot of land. So I also would urge people to not necessarily like start venerating Elon Musk, because just because he may be right in some aspects doesn't mean that he actually cares about you specifically. There's definitely some hidden agenda behind these things, and I can see also from his tweet that he's trying to propose that he may want to run as like, is there any like third party that represents like 80% of the people fall in the middle? So he's trying to be like the herald of the middle class or something, which is so fucking stupid. And yeah, so I would caution people to like check, for hidden agendas and not trust him 100% on what he's saying. Although he's making sense and he's warning people rightfully about something, but I wouldn't put it behind him that he has ulterior motives and he's just trying to build further support for his own political ascent in the next elections or something. So yeah, that's that. Overall, quite interesting topic, and it's still unfolding, of course. So if there's anything major, I guess I will keep you posted. But that's pretty much it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's gonna be a very short one, but I literally just landed today, and I put this together in 2 seconds. So yeah, and I really wanted to talk about this, to be fair. So enjoy the rest of the week. Summer's here. Please, London, get hotter, because I'm just like sick and tired. I was in Italy and it was so hot, and now I'm back here and it's cold. I may need to sleep under a duvet. Like, what the fuck? Unacceptable. But anyways, enjoy. Love you. See you very soon. See you next week. 100%. I vouch that I will be here next week. Bye.